beginning years of MK11 that he took me to like my first locals, and I just really liked the vibe. You know what I mean? It was just
The teleport missed it, but down two, not gonna kill 3.3, and he interrupted with like a text the throw in the forward four, the knee, like he stays alive in an unbelievable sequence.
like I'm like a competitor as far as like I grew up in sports my whole life.
Good block. That was critical, and he got the hit. Nice. That was so important to block that 2-1-2 there, and now Lankyness has a huge advantage.
And then I like went into law school, which is like a very like adversarial type of working field, right? So and then so I just really liked the whole like competitive aspect of it. I really liked the people that I met there at Wednesday night fights.
Like this one mix. He blocked it again. Lankyness, good job.
definitely went 0-2. Did not know what was got my ass beat real bad, but like I mean, yeah, no, you once you get like that itch and you're like, oh, now I know like there's people that really do this, and now I want to get better and I want to like compete and get at that level. Yeah, the bug bit me real hard.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the 20th episode of the Besidecast. With me tonight I have the owner of STG. Not only the owner of STG, but a very competent player in itself, Lankyness. Made top 8 week 1 of NA West. Also got a top 8 at 2022 Frosty Frostings, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty good results here and there, but mainly known as the owner of STG. So well, something I always like to start out with is what got you into like Mortal Kombat or like the FGC, just all that, I guess, like because now you're an owner of a team and stuff like that. So kind of what was the original like thing that got you into the community?
Absolutely, and yeah, first off, like thanks for having me, Bro Sidon. This is an honor, and I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you. But basically what it was I mean, I've always been a Mortal Kombat fan. I remember playing it on like the N64 back in the day, watching the movies, and I didn't get into like really knowing what the FGC was or like frame data was or anything real competitive fighting game until I'd say like 2018, 2019, when my friend Tim Blacklinks, who used to be the co-owner of STG, he was a a super good fighting game player. Even when we were like in college, I would remember like I played him like once or twice. He beat my ass so bad, I was like, yeah, I'm never touching this again. This is ridiculous. But he just started teaching me some stuff, and then we started going to like locals here in Southern California. We would go to Wednesday night fights when they were like still up and running, and was a big thing here in SoCal. And yeah, I think it was during like the beginning years of MK11 that he took me to like my first locals, and I just really liked the vibe. You know what I mean? It was just like I'm like a competitor as far as like I grew up in sports my whole life, and then I like went into law school, which is like a very like adversarial type of working field, right? So and then so I just really liked the whole like competitive aspect of it. I really liked the people that I met there at Wednesday night fights, like Han Rashid. It was super dope meeting him in person and stuff like that. And then it just kind of took off from there. It just started competing more and more. Started competing online as MK started, transitioning online. And then yeah, that was like my intro to it. It was Wednesday night fights, and it was because of Blacklinks he introduced me to the FGC.
Awesome. Yeah, usually you have like that link that kind of connects you to the community. Usually that's like a person who's like, oh yeah, there's these tournaments. You're like, oh, that sounds cool. And then you think you're awesome, and then you show up and you're like, wait, I actually have no idea what's going on.
definitely went 0-2. Did not know what was got my ass beat real bad, but like I mean, yeah, no, you once you get like that itch and you're like, oh, now I know like there's people that really do this, and now I want to get better and I want to like compete and get at that level. Yeah, the bug bit me real hard that day.
Yeah, no, I feel that 100%. So when did STG Gaming Co. become like a thing? Was it an idea? I know you said Blacklinks used to be the co-owner. Was it something you guys just decided to do, or where was that? Where are the origins of that?
Yeah, so it was like the start of the pandemic, and we kind of just had a lot of free time. Like I had just started working full time. Like I just graduated from law school. I just started working, and then the pandemic hit, and everything kind of shut down. You know, even like the courts shut down. So everything was kind of slow, even like work and everything. So we just had a lot of time, and we were just talking, and you know, we knew of some like competitive teams out there in the NRS scene, and Black Lynx and I were just like, hey, is there anything like based out of SoCal or anything like that? Like there's all these like great players here in Southern California that just weren't represented by any teams. And it was just like us talking, and it just kind of like we started drawing a logo, and then we started talking about like who would we recruit, and you know, how do we set up like a Twitter page, and then it just, you know, like step by step started becoming like a real thing. And then, you know, like I feel like it was just real like luck of the draw, blessings, whatever you want to call it, you know, that we got like real good competitive players that wanted to like hop on board, and the scene started transitioning like fully online at the time that the pandemic was like, you know, at its height.
Yeah.
And people were just home gaming, right? So that gave us an opportunity to like get our name out there in the, you know, in the scene, kind of like throughout the US to begin with, just because everyone was online, everyone was on Twitter, everyone was you know, like you know, on there. So it just it gave us the opportunity to like grow at a, you know, a kind of like a higher speed than we had initially thought, and it just kind of took off from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, STG is one of like I feel like the longest like going teams too, or like running teams. I remember like back, like you said, when the pandemic happened, a lot of people were doing these things like they were making the teams. You had teams like TGC, like VL, and stuff like where they're like the powerhouse teams. But I know VL is still around. They kind of like transitioned to like a different name, like VLE. But they still, I know they still have some players. I know TGC is gone these days, so. What has helped you guys like with like longevity? Is it just like the passion of like you just enjoy doing it, or has it been the fact that you guys have like seen success and that has just allowed you to keep going?
I feel like it's a combination of you know, a couple of those things that you mentioned, but I feel like the main thing that keeps us going, even as we like transition through different generations of games and stuff like that, is how we like make sure that we treat our players internally, and you know, we try to make sure that our players or content creators are all happy, that they're all you know, being taken care of as much as possible. And from there, I feel like the players that we recruit already have this like competitive drive, and as long as they feel like they're supported, and you know, like they're backed by their team, they kind of do a lot of the stuff that we need them to do, as far as like getting our name out there, performing well, you know, maintaining the status that we've built throughout the years. And then the other part of it is, of course, like as games change, as the meta changes, as like some players drop off because of like real life things, you know, that happen, you know, like some people transition to different parts of their lives. Yeah, exactly. The recruiting is also like a big part of it, right? So we have like, I feel, especially for like the NRS scene, but we're like trying to branch, trying to branch off into like the other big three, like Tekken and Street Fighter 6 as well.
Yeah,
but
so
we
you
have
guys
like a
have some
really
players,
good, yeah, definitely. And but we have like a really good eye for talent, as far as like recruitment, right? So that's what keeps us, you know, like kind of, you know, at the top, or close to the top, no matter what, like at least for like the past couple of years, is just maintaining the good players that we have, and then, you know, recruiting the best that fit the community and fit what we're trying to build, and then they just kind of add on to it and help us keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear. You guys were actually the first people who really believed in me. Player, you believed, you know, Street Rivalry Sundays honestly might not still be around if it wasn't for you guys, you know, helping so much in the beginning. And stuff like that. Like, you guys are definitely been like one of the best teams I've been a part of, you know. And I, you know, I saw the jersey at the bottom of my drawer. I was like, I can't wear it obviously, but I can't throw it out. I think I might get it framed. I think that would be like a thing. Maybe like, kind of like, you know, like people have their jerseys from the older teams, like, you know, professional sports and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. I'm probably gonna do something like that. You guys are probably the best MK team I know You had that thing with ELG where it was like, okay, STG is the best, and then ELG got that W, and it was like, okay, maybe ELG is the best. Then you guys came back, fired back, got that W. So who knows? I know you guys are doing round 3 coming up soon here. So after that first match with ELG, would you guys do anything different to prepare for the second match, or was it just kind of like, you know, you guys came out a little fat the first one, or what? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, well, first of all, the reason we got our ass beat was because ELG performed that day, and they, you know, I went absolutely crazy. They got like a bunch of killers on that team, you know, and they have OT who's like leading them and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. So that was the reason we lost. But on top of that, I feel like our team kind of came at it, you know, just from honestly from like the discussions that we were having in chat. I think they kind of underestimated what ELG was coming with, and I'm gonna throw myself in there as well. Like I underestimated what ELG was coming with, and I think how bad they beat us was like the wake up call that we needed. You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh shit, like that was bad. We got our shit kicked in. Like we need to wake up. We need to make some adjustments. So after that first battle, we had like a team meeting, got everyone in like a Discord call, and everyone just kind of talked it out. Like, hey, this is the reason why we thought we lost. These are the matchups that we think we need to like sure up. You know what I mean? Before the next one, these are the people that we felt we didn't perform the best that they could have performed, whether for outside reasons, mentality issues, or whatever, what have you. We had like a different selection process for the people that were gonna perform, that were gonna battle in the second one, and then like during those like 3 4 weeks in between like the first and second battle, it was just like a constant like, hey, this is the mission. You know what I mean? Like we cannot come out again. Well, one, we can't lose, but we certainly can't lose the way that we lost last time. Like, and that was like a daily reminder, and it wasn't only coming from me. And the dope part was like the people that played in the team battle, the people that didn't get to play in the team battle, the whole group chat, even people that were like, that are not NRS players for us, or Tekken players, or Street Fighter players, people that are retired, you know, you got like, you know, they're all coming out in the chat like, hey, no, that's not, you know, absolutely not. Like everyone has got to be grinding. Everyone has got to know what we got to do for the next one. And I think our players just came with a stronger mentality, just kind of ready to battle that second time. And yeah, here's a Poseidcast exclusive that no one has heard yet, but the third one is going to be on September 21st at 3 p.m. PT, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be on Aquaman's channel. And it's going to be it's going to be a neutral ground. So we had the first one on theirs, the second one on ours. Tiebreaker is going to be on Aquaman's channel. He's going to be commentating. I think Lord Tento is also going to be joining him, but we'll see. And it's going to be the final 8v8 before the update Chaos. What is it? It's before Chaos Reigns. So you know, we'll see who's the best before we head into the new patch. That's awesome. Really cool to see. Because yeah, you guys definitely seem like you two are the heads right now. I mean, there's other teams coming up in the woodworks, making a lot of signings. Some good teams like Kingsguard is a lot of signings. There's that Sin team that has a lot of like hidden bosses on there that a lot of good players who are definitely coming up and entering a lot of events and stuff. So it's really cool to see that, you know, teams are supporting players and helping players get out, especially, you know, potentially a second pro comp season. I hope we get that. Oh yeah, right. That soon. That'd be cool. Definitely waiting for that. Yeah. So, on top of doing everything with STG, you are a very competent player. You recently were ranked 83rd in the top 100. Thank you. So, impressive stuff. So, how have you managed to, you know, because you have the team, you compete yourself, you know, you have your full-time job, so you're a lawyer, you have like a family and stuff like that. You just had a kid. Like, how do you manage to keep up with like everything? Like, how do you play? Do you like practice schedule, or just play when you feel like it? Like, walk us through that a little bit. So maining one character and just kind of sticking to one character definitely helps, and that was kind of so that, you know, it's just like I just got to learn these buttons. I got to learn one game plan, and I just have to kind of adjust to whatever the changes are, but just for one character. So that, you know, is a big help. It's what I did in MK11 as well. And honestly, I feel like especially recently, I've not had the opportunity to play the game as much as I want to. It's kind of like lunch breaks here and there, you know, like I'll eat my lunch, I'll hop on Combat League for like an hour.
Yeah.
Or I'll just like compete in like maybe like 1 or 2 brackets a month if I can at this point. And then the rest is just kind of getting casuals with like the players on my team, which is like a big help, you know, like
Yeah,
I'm getting
100%.
competitive games against who I think are like the best players in the scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like as far as like my time on the game, I try to be efficient about it, you know, except for like the lunch breaks. I'm just messing around on Combat League, but like I'm either trying to compete, so I'm getting like, you know, like competitive experience, first to 3, real like real sweat sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm getting casual matches against like top players, and they may be short sometimes, or like first to 5s, first to 10s, or something like that. And I just like you know, just try to soak in as much as possible. We'll hop on Discord, you know, we'll complain about the meta, we'll talk about you know what happened, and yeah, I feel like that's really all I do. And just try to manage time as best I can. You know, things are getting busier and busier, but I mean, I just really love it. You know, like hopping on the game. Fighting games is just like a different thing. You know, like I used to play like MOBAs and shooters and stuff like that, but once I found fighting games, it really scratches an itch that other games don't. So yeah.
Like as someone, you said like you were, you know, you played sports throughout high school and in college as well. Like I was the same. So when that was all over and stuff, like you have like intramural sports and stuff, but they're not the same. Like I feel like the competitive aspect of the FGC has really scratched that itch for me of like competing. You know, you fail, you don't win the tournament, like you could go and get better, you learn from it, you come back, and I think that's really cool. And what's super cool about the FGC is it brings in people from like all walks of life. Like you have, like the chances that you and I meet if we are not in the FGC is basically 0%. But now, just what I routinely see at like offline tournaments, and you see people from like all over the world. So it's just really cool. And that. So would you say there's like some sort of relation between the FGC and like your love for the FGC and your love for like sports? Would you say that kind of like is that kind of like how I feel about it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you played sports growing up, you know, you're just like a competitor. You know, you either love to win or you hate to lose, or both. And I feel like growing up, like as I was playing sports in like high school and a little bit in college, it was like I felt like I was playing against the best. You know what I mean? And then like once that kind of drops off, you are playing intramurals, like you said, which is like, you know, you get like the fun aspect of it, but you're like, it's not that same level of competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here, and I'm not, don't like twist my words, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near like the top players in this game, but I at least am competing against them. You know what I mean? Like I am at least in the same arena, the same. Like I have if all the stars line up perfectly, there is a chance I can take a couple of games against these players. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
And at least I'm in the same tournaments as them. I'm in like in the same. It definitely fills that void that you lose once that side of sports just kind of drops off for you as you get older in life, if you don't go on to become some superstar or anything like that. And so there's definitely a correlation there.
That's really cool. It's like the same for me. So, what do you have going on for like the future? Or are you and STG plan on going out to any like these tournaments that have coming up? I know there's like ECT, there's DreamHack Atlanta, there's like Blink Respawn. This is kind of like in the islands. And then next year there's like Frosty and like Texas Showdown. We get back to like the summer events. So what's the plan for you and like STG? You guys heading out to these events or?
So we definitely have like players, like specific players going out to some of these events, the ones that are kind of more local to them. I know like Rio, for example, is hitting ECT. But as far as like team sponsored events, we're kind of done with those for 2024. We hit Frosty, we hit Combo Breaker, and then we hit Evo. And then next year is going to be kind of a similar lineup for us. People usually like going to Frosty because it's like a major, but it's more of an accessible major. I don't know how to like explain it. You know what I mean? It's not. It's like you got everyone there, but it's not like your CEO, Combo Breaker, Evo, Big Three kind of thing.
Kind of like an off-season major, essentially.
Exactly. And then we definitely want to hit CEO next year because we are back in Orlando
Yeah,
from what I hear, right? Yeah. So I have never. CEO was my first out of California FGC event, like my first major.
2001.
Oh no,
right? Or 2021. I mean.
2021, I think so. Yeah, I think 20. Yeah, I think the first one that came back like after the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was like the first one back, and it wasn't in Orlando. And you know, I just hear it's a different experience when that event is where it's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
definitely want to hit that up. And then Evo, definitely we're gonna hit it. You know, because it's just more local for me, so it's
Yeah.
easier for me to set up. It's easier for me to get to. Granted, this year I didn't go because it was my wife's birthday weekend, so it was,
Yeah.
you know, had to make a choice there. You know, had to make the smart choice.
Yeah, right. You know, do what you want. Do what you want.
You know?
I'll stay for the weekend. You're fine.
But yeah, so at least those majors we're gonna hit next year, and the other stuff we'll see. You know, if there's another pro comp event, I'd
Yeah.
love to set something up as far as like hitting up like an LCQ or like a final combat type of thing, especially if like one of our players qualify. We're definitely gonna be there. But yeah, that's what's in store.
Yeah, LCQ is actually super close to me. I live in like upstate New York, so Toronto was like a 2-hour drive, 3 hours, so it was actually super easy to get to, and it was an awesome experience. Like it was like cheaper than like most majors, and I mean it was only a 1-day tournament, but it was stacked. And
No, yeah,
they
it
gave
was
us like
insane.
They had this like water bottle. It's actually super nice. I still use it to this day.
Wait, did you get the gold scorpion?
Yep, I have
the
that.
gold scorpion.
Yep,
Oh,
I have that.
okay. I was about to say. As you can see, you know, I got the.
Oh, you got the Funko
it's like,
collection?
yeah, they're like all over. It's like if you look all like they're all over my office. But like, yeah, when I saw the gold scorpion, I was almost like, man, should I just go?
Like,
should I just go?
From what I see, like you could like sell it for like $800. Like people are buying it for like crazy because it was a limited edition. So like people who are crazy like Funko collectors. So it would have been like worth it, like, even if you had to pay like $400 or $500 on like a flight.
I know. It was just like
yeah.
it was just bad timing. But
Yeah.
man, I really wanted that thing. And then when I saw like the resale value for it, yeah, if you can keep that thing in like mint condition, put it in like a real safe box, that thing is gonna be crazy.
Get it signed by Ed Boon, and then boom.
Oh yeah, I saw a bunch of people got stuff signed by Ed Boon at
Yeah.
LCQ or Final Combat. I was like, man, that looked crazy.
I really hope
That bracket was crazy, man. You had all the Brazilian players coming out, like they just absolutely tore it up. Like yeah.
I ran into like 2 players from Toronto who were just really good. It was just like, you know, it was just like a local for them, and it was two
Crazy
Garrus
local.
players. And game 5 last, like it was like, because like I looked at my bracket and it was like me and Gambler, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be like, I'm gonna play Gambler to make it out. And then my first round match is against some Garrus players. The tag is like Michael Seraphim. He went on a run. He beat like me, he beat Competitor, he beat Ludi. Yeah, like 9 plays. He was a hit away from me and Gambler. So like sometimes like, you know, there's just some hidden killers. You know, goes to show never overlook anyone in your bracket.
Oh yeah.
You don't know what dude is going to be, you know, a hidden boss.
It'll be like their first event ever, and they have like 7,000 hours on the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's this guy? And then they know you because they're like looking at the brackets and see all the tournaments you went to. So.
Yeah, they're ready for your matchup.
Yeah,
like, you have no idea who they're
going
gonna
to play. Okay, you know, that doesn't mean anything, and then they're just fucking insane. So right now I feel like MK is in like an interesting spot. I remember like after Evo, there was like people were playing the game at Evo, and everyone was like, "Oh, this update is is going in the right direction. This game's gonna be amazing." And then Pharah comes out, and now Pharah's everywhere, and you're getting 50-50. You're down 150 health unless you're also using Pharah. I know like the nerf just came, and I think it was pretty healthy. I know some people don't like nerfs, people prefer buffs, which I agree with. But when something's kind of egregious, like the 150 health, I definitely think
that was objectively too much.
Yeah, so,
you know?
Yeah, 100. So how do you feel about the game right now in this current spot, in terms of a player and like for like your team, as you know, you really care about the competitive landscape?
Definitely. I feel like the game, you know, it has its Mickey aspects, but I feel like every competitive game has its Mickey aspects. And I feel like one thing that you know, maybe I'm not tapped into the other communities as much as I am with the NRS community. So maybe that's why I see more complaints about the game than I do for like Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6. I see a couple of them, but not nearly as much as I see for like MK1. And I don't know what the mentality is, but it seems like anytime there's like anything that is like slightly more difficult to deal with than like the rest of the game, it's just automatically like this is the most egregious meta I've ever seen in my entire life. There's nothing that's ever going to be worse than this. This is just absolutely horrible. And then like 2 weeks later, there's a patch, and then it changes the meta, and then everyone's like, this is the most egregious meta I've ever seen. I've never seen anything worse than this in my entire life. And it's just like this cycle. And then everyone is just like, man, if we could just go back to Peacemaker. Man, if we could just go back to when Cyrax was the way he was. Man, if we could just go back to MK11. And I just remember when MK11 was around, there was just so many complaints around the defensive options that people had in that game. You know, like as far as like roll, just up down, three, random down 2, up 3, up 2, the late wake up, and now it's just like all those complaints are just like erased out of their memory now that Farrah's around. It's just like that game was perfect. That's what we should go back to. It's like there was absolutely nothing wrong with that game, you know, like and it's just, you know, that's what I try to like preach to like my players as much as possible. You know, it's like, hey, this is the meta, you know, this is what it is. And if there's a tool in the game that is just giving you too many issues and you just can't figure out a way to counter it, pick it up. Because if you are a player that has the ability to pick up multiple characters, which a lot of our competitive players do, it's like, hey, if you have an issue and it's killing you and there's no counterplay, if you say, like, pick it up, you know, like start beating other people with it, and if not, like let's hop in the lab, let's figure out what the counterplay is to it, because it, you know, even with Farrah, which is, you know, just it is crazy. The mix is crazy. The health before the nerf was absolutely insane, but there is counterplay to it. Like if you see the best of the best get out there, and they're playing against like a Farrah player who's just doing like layer 1 Farrah mix, you know, or whatever they need to do, they're getting like buttons pressed in between. They're getting armor, you know. Every time Farrah comes out, there's an armor that comes out, and it changes the way that people play. You know what I mean? Like, so there are always, I feel like there's always answers to whatever the meta is, and I feel like the community that we have kind of like option one is to just like complain about it and say like, hey, NRS, they tag like every dev and Ed Boon and everybody like, hey, look at this, has to change immediately. But if you look at like the best of the best, they're either using it or they're finding ways to fight it, you know. And that's why like whenever you see these brackets and you got like you know, I'm gonna use like players that are not represented by me, so I'm trying to be like unbiased. So like you got like the Unjust, right? Or you know, like players of that caliber, and they're just like, they're either using whatever amazing tool is in the game right now, or they're finding the best ways to fight it, you know. Like that's what Bandinos does, that's what Unjust does, Sonic, Ninja, you know, that's what they do. That's how they maintain you know, their ability to fight and to be the best no matter what the meta is, no matter what the game is. They just find answers, and that's it, you know. No excuses. There's an answer in the game, and if there's no answer, I'm gonna use it. That's it.
No, definitely. Like speaking of like, you know, like Unjust and Sonic, like they're always I would say they're always picking, but it's like every tournament they have someone new up their sleeve, and you know, if you have that ability, you know, see people like Mari doing the same thing. Even like Kale has been picking up like a bunch of different characters and stuff. You know, at the point, like if you, like you said, like if you can't beat it, then join it. You know, like why not? If there's, you know, we're competing out here, you're not gonna get like more, you know, money for winning a tournament with Sub-Zero than you are with Homelander. So it's like whatever.
Exactly. If you're not a character loyalist and that's not what's like holding you down, then please pick up Homelander Farrah and do the things that are, you know, do the things, do all the things, please.
Yeah, I remember OT actually had Combo Rager. He like told all his team like, you guys should need to have a Peacemaker ready to go, because the character is just too strong, and if you end up like doing a mirror or something you can't handle it, you're gonna play it in Joystick ran into Hayate and went down 2-0, took out the Peacemaker, got the reverse 3-0, and it was just like, that was really good advice. Like it was like simple,
absolutely.
You know, you got to
Very-
do it when he gets the job done. You know.
Yep, very smart advice. Absolutely.
So, I've noticed throughout like this game, you never like Raiden at one point was like super meta, but you never really played like the meta variation. You were never really on Cyrax when he was like the main thing, and then you're never really on Kano. Is there a particular reason for that? Is it, like you didn't find it fun, or you just want to find your own thing, your own way to play him? Or...
I mean, it's a couple of things. One, I didn't like doing string into Storm Cell, into Kano Ball, or into Cyrax. You know, that was just not fun.
Yeah.
And then, but two, like I would still do something not fun on, you know, like on the character that I play if I felt that's what that character was going to be for the longevity of.
Yeah.
And I just, and every time like someone would tell me like in the STG chat, you know, like why aren't you playing, you know, Raiden Kano, Raiden Cyrax during the chip meta stage, and I would just tell them like this is not what's going to, this is not gonna stay. There's absolutely no way we're like in year 2 of the game and people are still doing Storm Cell into Cyrax. Like there's you know, like even as like a spectator, you know, like even if you don't know anything about fighting games and you're just watching like Storm Cell into Cyrax for, you know, 90 seconds, you're just like this is shit. Like I'm not gonna sit around and watch this, you know. Like there's, you just for so many reasons, I just knew that like this was not gonna stay. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna play my Raiden Jax, and I'm just gonna like try to build as much fundamentals around like his actual buttons and then like a real game plan that I feel like is to, you know, stay throughout the game, and those were pretty much the reasons.
Yeah, I remember we ran this at back towards like when like Cyrax and Kano were the meta, and you were playing Jax, and I remember I labbed so much against because you run into so many Raiden Cyrax or Raiden Kanos that like when I played Jax, it was a whole nother game plan. It was like a different character, but like, and I was completely ready for it. So I think that's, you know, overall a solid, you know, knowing the game meta is going to change, and you were right, it was changed. There's still a clip like whenever someone talks about like, oh, I wish we could bring Cyrax back. You know, he said like, oh, we need Cyrax back because in the beginning when he was there, everyone hated him, but now that he's gone, now
it's like
the same again.
now that Fair is here, everyone's
and I was like,
let's go back to the other evil guy. Like, he's a little less evil, so let's just go back to
yeah. It was a clip of it was a winners final set of SRS. It was Emperor Nyx versus Esfredi Payne. They're both playing Raiden Cyrax, and literally every like it was like poke Storm Cell Cyrax, string Storm Cell Cyrax, and I was commentating, and I was having a hard time like not laughing. It was like poke Storm Cell Cyrax.
Nice Kelly's. Oh, you could have punished there. You saw an actual string.
Oh, back 4-4. Oh, Baker. Oh, Superman. Storm Cell Cyrax. Oh, overhand.
Alright, what's the move?
Stage 2 grab.
Grab. Doesn't have the meter to amplify though, but still
Storm
stuck
Cell.
in the corner here.
Cyrax. Oh, where's your poke? Storm Cell.
Oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous. I can't. Okay, trades on the zone. Nice poke. Storm Cell Cyrax. Teleports in. Alright, a punish. Oh, there's Cyrax. Don't worry.
Can that be poke? Cyrax?
Oh, he wasn't ready for it. Nice
grab.
Alright. Right, Payne's
Oh,
in the
Storm Cell?
blow territory. He's taking all the straight damage. He's getting the knockdown.
Storm Cell? Oh no.
Oh, he didn't
Oh,
punish.
Storm Cell?
Cyrax.
Cyrax? Storm Cell? What is the Cyrax?
What the fuck are we watching?
It was just like happening over, like to the point my girlfriend was in the other room, like, and she was like, "What are you saying? What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm literally just commentating."
Like these aren't words. Like,
I'm literally commentating. I'm not trying to be funny right now. This is just what's happening. So, and then you know we went on to like the it was like Lao was after Cyrax. Everyone hated Lao, and then Striker. Everyone hated Striker, and then everyone hated Chameleon.
Yep. Everyone just hates whatever is the most annoying to deal with at the time. But I mean, yeah. I feel like you know what's crazy at this point? I feel like there's a lot of cameos that are really viable. Like, if you look at whatever top major online top 8 is going on, you know, whether it's SRS, TNS, or you know, HTGG, whatever, what have you, and you look at like the top characters or cameos, it's not really like this crazy like 4 of the same, or like everyone is using Striker, or because I remember when Cyrax was, you know, Cyrax was the meta, it was like character Cyrax, like that was it, you know, like, and when it was like Striker, it was like character Striker, like that's it. But now it's like there's more variety, so you know, like meta, I mean, Pharah is still like, you know, the most annoying to deal with right now, and I feel like that has a lot to do with people just haven't found answers. You know, like some things don't have answers, like Scorpion back 3 into Pharah, there's just no answer unless you have a good armor move and like fantastic reactions. But it's
you know what you can do that I've been messing with, if your cameo has an invincible reversal, you can do that. So I've been playing a lot of Sonya, so the leg grab is an invincible reversal, so if they do back 3, I just call in Sonya.
And she just
okay.
See, there is an answer. See, I was wrong. Like everything has an answer.
Yeah,
you just gotta
really does. Yeah, and like
you just gotta figure it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers, especially like with the cameos and stuff like that. Like you can call in cameos, like ambush cameos while blocking if you're not in like stun. So if you're not in like block string or something like that. So there are things that people can look into and stuff, and people do find answers. So we're talking about the meta. What is your least fun? Like, which one did you like not enjoy the most? Like, where's
I didn't enjoy the chip meta, but not because of the gameplay. I felt like because you just ran into it so much, you just started getting good at flawless blocking, or else you just were not gonna have a chance. Yeah. So it was like there was counterplay, so I felt like that was fine. But the reason I didn't like the chip meta because as a Raiden main, I was getting, we were getting heat, bro. We were getting everyone. It was like, man, it was just slander, bro. You couldn't win a game, and I wasn't even playing the chip meta. You know, it was just Raiden hate coming at me, and I was like, man, I didn't do Storm Cell once. You know, it's just crazy.
Raiden Jax main or Raiden Scorpion main. What do you mean?
Yeah, but and even after the chip meta was like not the main meta, there's hate for Raiden that carried on until he just got nuked was just kind of crazy. You know, I'm not gonna say he's not competitively viable. I feel like every character game, you know, if you put in the work or use the right cameo, you can happen. But my guy got shot, man. Yeah, he got shot.
Yeah, now he's like mid to low tier now. Same thing with like Peacemaker. Like they definitely I don't know if they went over the top or if they probably did. It was just like, okay, they took all the tools and just toned him down a bit. It was like, okay, like eventually it's like, because like he was like top 1 and then they gave him a nerf and then people were like, oh, he's like mid tier now, and then it was like, okay, now but he still has Kano, so he's still strong, and he kept on like getting nerfed, and then they'd find out that he was actually still top 5, and then eventually they're just like, there was one giant patch where it was like, okay, we're gonna make him low tier because we're still hearing complaints about this guy. I think with like Peacemaker, there was like a couple Peacemaker nerfs that were like coming and he like slaps on the wrist and then boom, like nuke, he's up.
Yeah, exactly. Like his Peacemaker didn't last as long as Raiden. Like Raiden's was like, it was like gradual nerf until the nuke. But his Peacemaker's was like, you know, like a couple little hits, and then it was like, you know, it didn't take too long for him to like not be the best character.
I feel like it was Final Combat.
Which is kind of crazy.
Like when Final Combat happened and people were watching, like, because there was just so many eyes on it.
And it was like a zoning war, and like, you know, people watch, like the casuals watch fighting games for like the combos, you know what I mean? So it was just like a very combo-less, you know, world final that you're like, okay, we can't have one character shooting guns and throwing birds at the other character.
Like, has to walk their way in and stuff like that. And then the Johnny, who's like kind of like the opposite, still was getting a lot of hate. I mean, maybe it's just because they saw him too much, but like from Peacemaker being a crazy zoner, Johnny was this oppressive character who struggled to get in, but with cameo like Jade Glaive, for example, you throw Jade Glaive, now you're in.
Now he's in.
Now you're starting the pressure. So So, do you have like a? I know you have your team, so you don't have to say like anyone on your team. You can go off your team, or you can say someone on your team. But like, do you have like a favorite player that you like to watch, whether that's another Raiden main or like someone who's like really high up, or someone you just like, you just find enjoyment from watching?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna give like one not on my team, one on my team, and then one that's just like those top players that everyone loves to watch. So the one on, or I have a couple players that I really like to watch on my team, but definitely Kale and J-Chan are like my favorite to watch, and for different reasons. Like Kale is just like, I do not, like those. Do you remember like those memes where like don't let them know your next move, and it's just like people like just doing like a whole bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like Kale plays. Like you just do not know what Buddy is gonna do. He will press buttons. Like that's the only thing you know is gonna happen. Like he's gonna press some buttons, and he just does them at like the best times in the best ways and just unexpected ways. And it's like every time I see him win, like with like a raw fatal blow, I'm just like, oh shit!
He's a
I knew you were gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know you were gonna do it, and it still catches me off guard every time. And then Justin, like it's for a couple reasons. Like one, of course, is like one of my good friends that like lives nearby. Like we hang out like outside that. But besides that, I think it's because he's so like he only shows up at like a couple majors a year. You know, he never online. So people just like, you either know about Justin or you don't know about Justin. So it's like when I see like good players and they go up against Justin and they just think it's about to be a cakewalk, and it's like, no, buddy, like this guy
this guy games
like
every
this
time
guy really games, bro. Like he went to Combo Breaker and got 17th, I think, and like and that was only because Big Daddy G like super clutched what I thought was like
game 5.
One of the hypest sets that weekend, like. And so I just love like just seeing Justin go to these events and people are just, who's this guy? And it's like, oh shit, look at this, look at Sento go. It's absolutely.
So I had to play J-Chan at the pre-local. We had like a close game 5 set. He ended up clutching it out, and I was so close. Like in my pool, I ended up losing to Pello, did not make it out, and Pello ended up playing Justin. So I almost got my run back. Where that was a lot of fun. It's always fun fighting J-Chan, because I feel like I don't want to like insult him, but like I feel like he is just so he commits to his reads, and he's just like, and that's can be a blessing and a curse. I feel like for him it's a blessing. Like sometimes I play him and I'm like, he'll just like do like wake up button or something like that, or like mash on like -8, and it'll work, and it'll just like and so, but when you know. But like,
exactly.
I wanted my run back because of that. Because I was like, all right, I think I know what he wants to go for. But
his game sense is crazy, and it was awesome. It was like during MK11, like it was me and Tim Blacklinks at the time, and we were kind of grinding during the pandemic, and then Justin like would come over, and then he saw us like playing and stuff, and then within like us like kind of just explaining how frame data work, like just like just chopping it up with him, he just started kind of picking it up and was like, oh shit, and then within like 2 weeks he was like taking games and was like, bro, like you give someone a controller in an FGC against people who like have been doing it for a while, and they're not going to take games really quickly, but he was like, he picked it up really fast, and it was like, oh shit, and then he stuck to it. He started getting games against the best, Justin's just a real likable guy, so he can get games, with anyone in the scene. Yeah. And he just started soaking up knowledge, which he does really well, and he just became what he is now.
Yeah.
And then, so outside the team, who I like to see is, man, I think Bandinos is fucking Hooper, bro.
Yeah.
Hooper. It's just like, oh my god. I remember playing Bandinos in 11 when he had like that Shao that was...
Yeah.
And then he just transitioned over to MK1, and he could play a bunch of characters at that high level, but like that Rain, when he's like doing the stuff with Rain, I'm like, man, that's just really like pretty gameplay. You know what I mean? Like just like real clean. It just like every decision has like a like real thought behind it. It's just real fun to watch. Real fun to watch for sure. And then at the top level, I love watching play, man. I mean, it's just some he does that is just like insane to me.
I'm sorry, who
the flaw.
Did you say? It like cut off.
Sorry. Oh yeah, no worries. Ninja Killer.
Ninja Killer, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like his gameplay is like, it's like flashy without being flashy. You know what I mean? Like he's just blocking. Like he's just blocking, and it's like 17 flawless blocks in a row, and it's like, okay, but that's not normal.
Yeah, I remember like I like CEO who was like playing friendlies, and he was playing like a Cetrion. The Cetrion did a ground pound, and he like short hopped both of them, and then like fly kick punished it, and it was just like that's like. Looking at it, it looked so obvious, but it was like obvious. Like he's just like doing all these micro things perfectly every single time. It's just
It's even just like the movement, the way that he just like, man, his spacing is like, man, you know, he's right there, and if he there, so he didn't get hit.
Yeah,
it's just also real pretty stuff to watch. So it's like, yeah, definitely. Those are like, you know, if those players are ever playing and I got some free time, I am. But you know, like absolutely, and of course, like anyone else on my team, if they're competing, and I got an opportunity to have stream up, I'm locked in. You know, I'm throwing the STG logo in chat whenever I can, and you know, cheering them on. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's really cool. Like we just brought up Bandinos, and well, like I talk about Bandinos. Bandinos is the best player in the world who didn't compete at level.
Yeah,
like,
no,
just his
agreed.
combo breaker just showed up, and I know he like showed up to DreamHack Atlanta, didn't have like the best run, but like that's actually pretty common. I know like the Chilean twins showed up out of nowhere, and they were the best in the world, but you know, so you gotta shake that off, and he came back to combo breaker and just did absolutely insane. Like he Scorpion procs, like only lost to like Sonic Fox and Ninja, which everyone in the world loses to those guys every single time. So.
Exactly. No, he's absolutely insane to show up, and yeah, I think he had like his folks with him, and yeah, it was just dope to see, like, you know, young cat getting out there, not letting like one bad performance his way, making it happen, you know.
Yeah, that's really. So you are you like, is your family from Brazil? Are you from Brazil, or?
So. My dad is you know, ethnically Korean, and but he was born in Brazil. My mom is fully Brazilian, like from Brazil, parents Brazilian, everything Brazilian, and I was born in Brazil, and I stayed there until I was really young, you know, I was like 1.5, and then my parents immigrated over here, and I've lived in like the LA area pretty much my entire life. I've moved around like here and there, you know, college and things like that, but it eventually like came back, settled down. Right now I'm like 10 minutes east of downtown LA, so you know, like LA is like my home center for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I'm Brazilian Korean, but like my dad, you know, was born and raised in Brazil.
The reason I ask is because Brazil is kind of coming up as one of like the strongest regions. I like to say that Brazil is the second best country for MK outside of the United States. And they have a bunch of killers. Do you ever you plan on like ever going down there to play some MK with them, or maybe even recruiting a Brazilian player for the STG, because they have a lot of killers and some of them don't have teams. So
yeah, no, I would absolutely love to. Like, one, if I had the opportunity. So the one thing that kind of like doesn't let me is, you know, like it's not the easiest thing to fly down to Brazil, especially like now that I have like a young daughter and everything.
Yeah.
It's a big to-do for sure. But before, even when I was out there, my hometown is Porto Seguro, and it's kind of like a smaller, more rural beach city, and it's kind of away from like the big metropolitan areas like Rio and São Paulo that like have, where I feel like they have like, you know, like the big locals, the like the regionals, and you know, their bigger events and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of like in a city that's farther removed from that. But if there was ever like I really comp event that was in São Paulo, like I was like, I am gonna try to go, but then work got in the way. You know, a lot of like my not being able to go to do with work. I am locked down, unfortunately. I, you know, like pretty much like 20. But I mean, man, if there was like a Brazilian player that, you know, I would like be able to compete for us and carry on our name down there, I would love to like bring them on. You know, maybe that's my fault for not like tapping in with the scene too much, but I mean, their talent is ridiculous. Like Killer Shinnok, Exceptional, freaking you know,
there's Zeus.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's Aqua Verde, who showed up to EVO 2023, the one last for MK11, and took out a bunch of killers, beat like Samij. They have a bunch of really good players. There was a a Takeda player just won like a major tournament down there,
Mhm,
like
mhm. Lavender, right? Yeah,
Lavender,
I've been seeing
Takeda.
like I saw like even Sonic tweet about him and saying like maybe Takeda's not that bad, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
like I didn't think he was. I mean, like I kind of understood why people were saying that. Like his armor was terrible, his buttons were slow, but like he had so much range and like he'll touch you nearly like 50, like Takeda Jax. So it's you know there's definitely different ways and like I never liked to write any character off ever since MK11 Fusion. When that character dropped, everyone was like, "This character's terrible. Juice isn't worth the squeeze." And then he's like, "All right, maybe he's like upper mid tier. It's like, okay, maybe he's high tier. Okay, maybe he's top. Okay, now he's the best character in the game.
maybe he's the best ever. Maybe he's just the
by
best
far
to ever
the best
do it.
character. And now the whole meta revolves around him."
Exactly. No, I feel like it's kind of like a similar thing. I don't know if he'll, you know, shoot all the way up to top 1 because I feel like a lot of the top 1, you know, like top 1, 2, 3 characters in this game just have a lot of dirt. I feel like to be the best in this character, you gotta have like, I mean, the best in this game, you gotta have like real dirt in your gameplay. You know, like hard to blockables, resets, or just like the best buttons, like, you know, 9-frame mid, which just no characters have in this game or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, I have Matrix on the squad.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he's he does not make that character look bad at all. Like that, it looks he preaches the, you know, Lokita,
Lokita, yeah, of course, you got
Lokita vibes, but like no man, that character hits hard, has a lot of tools,
crazy
and I feel like once. Yeah, crazy range, long lashes. You know what I mean? I feel like once people like figure him all the way out, it's gonna be scary.
Yeah, no, 100%. What am I? So, you're a Raiden loyalist, so I'll ask this question, but I feel like I already know the answer. But with the, you know, we have the Chaos Main coming out, we have like, you know, the guest characters, we have, you know, new Sector, Cyrax. Are any of those characters interest you at all in terms of playing, or maybe just like a watching standpoint? I know you said you're a Raiden, you through and through.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably gonna be, as far as like competitive play, I'm probably gonna stick Raiden until there's just absolutely no way to win, which I don't think is like a realistic thing in NRS games. But I mean, honestly, bro, that Cyrax trailer was dope. You know, like I feel like she has like some pretty awesome tools. I love playing teleport characters, and I'm gonna be honest, the reason I need a teleport character is because I do not like the Mario Party walk down game. Like that is not why I bought Mortal Kombat, was walk through, you know. So like I'll make the read and I'll teleport, and it looks like she has like a pretty dope one. You know, like so yeah, I mean, if there's any character in that combat pack that I'm kind of looking forward to playing, it's probably Cyrax. But whom I'm like looking forward to other people playing and to see in the game is for sure Noob, because he looks awesome, bro. Like man, like his new design, like he got like the Monster Energy Mountain Dew thing going for him. Like when I first saw him, I was like, I didn't even recognize him, but then when I realized it was Noob, I'm like, man, he's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
And then Scream. Like what is gonna happen there, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
the lore of the movies, it's always like a different person, right? It's just like, so I wonder how they're gonna make that chronologically work in the MK universe.
Like what kind of like archetype is he about to?
Yeah.
Is he gonna be like a smoke type of like, you know, like in and out, quick stabs, or is he just gonna be grappling people? Like I really, you know, just have like no idea.
Yeah, he really are. Like they really can do like anything. They always do. I feel like with the guest characters, they always do them justice. They always look really cool. They always like do really cool, especially with the 3 from this combat pack, like the Omni-Man, Homelander, and Peacemaker. I mean, 2 of them obviously were egregiously busted when they first came out.
No, yeah, I feel like with the guest characters, and especially like the horror guest characters, Freddy, Jason, like you can kind of tell like what their archetype is gonna be. Like you knew Jason. Walk up and just press some big ass buttons.
Yeah, right.
And that's just gonna be what it is. And Freddy was gonna be like opening and fast buttons here and there, but like I have no idea what his face. I'm just excited. I know that like Aphrodite is planning on maining Ghostface.
Really?
And moving off of the Nitara, or maybe like co-maining both.
Yeah.
But if there's any type of like movement involved with that character, I cannot wait to. Aphrodite.
Yeah,
It's gonna
because
be-
Afro was like the first one I saw, like really. I mean, outside of like Deoxys really pushing the Tara, but I think online and like now with all the buffs, it kind of surprised me that
They are everywhere.
You're everywhere. Yeah, exactly. You know, like dive kick launches, amp is basically plus. I get told it's not. I don't believe it. I cannot press on that. I get hit every time I try to. But yeah, no. Like, are you like into like the story modes? Like, are you a big lore guy? Or you just kind of like how the gameplay is?
I'll be honest. I put the story mode on like when the game first comes out. I put the story mode on YouTube on like 2x, and I'll just watch the whole thing. You know, because I do like to like know what's going on. But as far as like playing through it, the only reason I would, and usually I like the last couple of games I'll get a little brother or someone to do it, is like to just like unlock
whatever it is.
Unlock, you know, like whoever I need to unlock, exact Havoc or whoever it is. And so that's, but like as far as like what modes I play in the game, it's literally like online versus or practice every once in a while if like something new comes out and I'm just trying to like lab a new cameo. It's either like, never touched invasions. Like,
no, I haven't touched invasions. Yeah, if it wasn't for watching other people's streams, I would have no idea what invasions looks like. Or watching the combat cast, because I've never really been like even like a single player mode like in other games. Like I don't really like single player games. So like games like Mario Party and stuff like that kind of thing, because you play with other people or stuff like that, and like the mini games.
Yeah, I'm absolutely the same way. Like I have a friend that's super into like the you know, like the single player story mode games, the like the Wukongs, the Dark Souls and all that stuff. He's like, man, you gotta play Skyrim. Like this is the best thing I've ever done. Like brother, I got 20 minutes. Like, I am not gonna get anything done in that game, you know. But I can play like 3 Combat League sets in 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Like getting to lab something, you can get those combos fresh and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, you mentioned that, as I said, you're still, you're busy with like all the stuff you have going on, but you say you try to play like effectively. Do you have like when you go to practice mode, do you have like a practice routine, or is it just like labbing against something that you don't understand or you don't know about, or something that got you in Combat League, or how do you go about your practice?
So this is like, and I hope that my players don't listen to me, but I never lab like anything that. You know what I mean? Like, if I got hit by something ridiculous, I'm like, I'll ask, you know, like, I'll definitely ask the better players in chat, like, hey, I got hit with bullshit. Like, what was my option here? And then they'll usually, like, explain it to me, and then, like, after, like, a couple more failures, like, I'll figure out, like, okay, this is what to do in this situation. But, no, like, lab time for me is usually, like, a new cameo came out, and I'm like, okay, like, what? Can I combo off my back 2? Can I combo off my grab? And, like, do I have any mix off my forward 4? Like, those are the, like,
those are the 3 things you check.
The 3 boxes I check that I, like, kind of, and, like, how much do I do off of, like, meterless combos if I don't have, like, you know, something to amplify the air lightning shit. But, yeah, those are like the 3-4 things I check, and then from there I just hop online and I just try to like see what kind of game plan works. You know what I mean? Like what's working, what are people getting hit with, what are they not getting hit with, and yeah, just repeat the cycle the next time a new cameo comes out. And sometimes it's just like, you know, like when Janet came out, like I tried, I was like, this is just not it. But then Bandito's.
But I was kind of the same with like when Janet first came out. I wasn't really feeling her, and then like the Sentinel stuff seemed like kind of complicated, and then. More came out, it's like she doesn't really do that. It's mainly like the punch thing, and that's kind of broken because a lot of characters get throw combos or crazy combo extensions like Ermac, you know, like combo off the scrap, combo off everything. Now,
that's a good team for sure. And how about you? Is like the plan, like combat pack coming out, is the plan to stay the reptile loyalist, or what are we doing?
So I like kind of like you said, like I'm busy, so playing one character definitely makes easier to maintain. I do, like, canonically, like, I love reptiles, so that's why I played them, and then I love Ermac as well, so when Ermac dropped, there was, like, tournaments coming up, it was, like, close to, like, Combo Breaker, so I was like, I don't really have time to just learn a new character. I don't pick up characters super quickly, so I really need to put time in the lab, and then play matches and stuff like that, so it's just, like, so after, like, LCQ and stuff like that, I started picking up Ermac, so I do have a little bit of an Ermac on, and then my other favorite character is Sector. They did like change her backstory. It's now a female character, which doesn't really like bother me. Oh, some people were outraged.
I know some people were upset.
I wasn't one of those people. I love Sector, and I do plan on playing them. I guess it really depends on how they play, because I always pick my character based off of like if I like them canonically, or like lore wise. But then I usually stick with someone based off of how I like their playstyle. Like in MK11, I started playing Collector, but then I saw like how Yax is like Garrus, and I was like, all right, I want to play this character. I like the throws and the strike throw and stuff like that. And then when Joker came out, I love Joker canonically, so I was like, I'll play Joker. And then I loved like his movement. When I saw he had a fatal blow cancel, I was like, ooh, like this is gonna be a lot of fun. And this is his movement, his range, like everything came together. Just the landing a kapow was just like the most like amazing feeling. It's like just hearing that noise of the boxing gloves, like it was just like I
you have time to really like appreciate that. You just like there was like 3 seconds where you just watch the animation. You're like, he's a bunch of damage.
He's gonna eat 30 minimum if he has breakthrough. So that was great. But Sector, and the noob looks cool. Like I've been really like into like content and stuff as well, so I've always tried to play the new character because it's always like the hot thing, try to get like a set on YouTube or like some sort of like breakdown like the way this other character works. But it also depends on like if there like tournaments and stuff coming up. Like I do plan to go to ECT and DreamHack, which are both in October, and as I don't always have a ton of time to like practice, so I always try to be effective with it. So I guess it depends on how it lines up, how good I'm feeling. And then I'll try to give all of them a go, but mainly Sector, probably. But they all look super cool. Cyrus trailer was amazing. Noob looks amazing. And even the guests or the guest characters look awesome.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, man, that's really cool. Do you have anything else? So we've been here for almost an hour. Do you have anything else that you feel like you wanted to say that I didn't get to, or I didn't ask you that you thought maybe I would, or anything you want to shout out? I know you have the STG ELG on the September 21st on Aquaman stream. Yep. That's gonna happen. Do you want to shout out anything or anything you would like to say?
No, I mean, I just want to shout you out for sure. Like, I appreciate this for sure. This is an awesome experience. Love to see you guys continue to grow. Appreciated the time that you scash around the team. We got an absolute ball, and very happy that you went on to like another team, that they're treating you well, and it just makes me really, really glad to see that you guys are good to be successful. But besides that, I'd love to shout out my team, like my entire squad, like everyone from like our graphic designer, Big Sherm, to our photographer Ben, to all of our competitive players throughout all of our games, our content creators, Van, Nikito, Gruesome, everyone that just that helps get our name out there, that helps us maintain a good reputation in the scene. It's just not an easy thing to do, especially as we bring members and continue to stay in the community as long as we have. So just really want to show my appreciation to them. And then of course to my wife and baby who allow me to do this, because it is, after work, it's like, hey, I gotta like draft up this contract, or what have you. I gotta sit in this living room and watch this 6-hour team battle and do what I have to do, so they show me a lot of grace. They allow me to do what I do, so much love to them as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. Like I said, you guys, like STG, were like the first people that really gave me and SRTV like an opportunity, and it really helped us grow. And as I don't feel like we'd be where we are today, without like your guys' assistance. And I think you guys you really helped us decide what we wanted to be. Because I remember towards the end of our tenure, you're we still want to support you guys, just that MK11 is not what we want to do right now. We're kind of well, what do we want to do? And we kind of decided NRS is our thing, and we're just gonna stick to whatever MK game is out, and that's or play previous NRS games. I've been running Injustice 2 tournaments. I think NRS games, you know, have a lot of potential, and even like the older ones. Like if you like the older ones, like there's all this discourse about MK11 being better than MK1. Like if you want to do it, like you know, run some brackets, you know, play the game if you want to. Play MKX. Everyone talks about how that's the best game ever. I tried running some brackets for that. Nobody showed up. I ran one. There was like,
put the money where your mouth is.
yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like,
And I put up like $50. And yeah, like the first one was like all right. The second one, like there was like 8 people signed up, like 2 like DQ'd halfway through. People were making jokes about it. I was like, all right. But like Injustice 2, people showed up right away, and they've been showing up every week. So it's been a lot of fun. So like I said, like if you like a previous game, play that for sure. But I think MK1 is at a pretty good point. And yeah, I think that'll do it. Thank you so much for coming on, as I said. And I'm sure I'll see you around.
Absolutely. Much love, bro. Sided. See you. Big deuces.